Live Friday night, FSBRacing.com, Winston Cup 88, the Aero Series. Mel Minter Jr. along with the voice of FSB, Greg Bernardo. What's up, Greg?
What's up, Milty? Daytona tonight. The wild card in the final stretch of races here in the Winston Cup Series. Anything can happen here, Milty. And all our principals, of course, are here with a few bonuses, we'll call it. With the 15 of Matt Watkins also flying the private jet into Daytona.
Matt's been on a vacation at the Bahamas. Hasn't been racing anywhere from what I can see. Just taking a little breather, getting the batteries recharged.
Yeah,
and tonight
he'll be
he
in
is
that
on the
DeLorean
point.
too, Milty. And you know, Back to the Future's been in the in the news because they predicted some stuff to happen in 2015, which is now. But you know, I think they actually predicted a Matt Watkins win at Daytona, but I think that didn't make the final cut of the film, Milty.
Well, they predicted the Cubs were going to win the World Series too. Sorry, Cub fans,
Well,
but it
I
didn't
think I
happen.
like Matt Watkins' chances better than the Cubbies.
The Cubbies. This is Harry Carey.
And
Oh, we
Milty,
got.
this is as we're winding happy hour down here, looking at one of our contenders there, the 28 car of Ed Kerstetter. Milty, this is Daytona BR Bull Ring. Bull Ring being a bunch of tracks that were done in this style by some guys.
I thought it was Brian Ring.
Yeah, or Brian Ring, excuse me. And
Well, usually having to correct me.
yeah, I know, that's
I'm not
right.
drunk enough yet.
But it's a little different than the stock track. Different grooves, maybe different grip levels.
Well, the outside lane has a chance if you got the numbers. You got enough guys to commit, and with a 23 car field, we got a chance for that tonight.
And you see the cars popping up here on pit lane. 99 Pop Smargus in there. There's a 72 car of Mike Pruitt. Bill Yarbrough's there. There's another contender, the 83 of Steve Weber. But he's going to be starting toward the back of the field, Milty. There's Matt Watkins right beside him, teammates. Monsoon Motorsports. Mark DeCenza's here. Mark coming off a super speedway Tuesday night win, Milty. So not only does he throw the car around in the mile and a half tracks, Milty, he wins on the super speedways as well.
Well, we'll talk about winners. We've had a lot of them this season, and Chad Stallman was our sponsor. Stallman's at Bear Creek got him a W last night in the FSB trucks.
Yes, he did.
It shows you the parity. Mark Dillon has won a lot of drivers this year winning races.
And speaking of Chad, of course, we thank him for his sponsorship of the series. Stallman's at Bear Creek, and putting out the hardware, Milty, which is what it's all about.
And you got the points battle. Steve Weber still in the lead. 2 weeks in a row, it's been bad luck for him, then bad luck for Kerstetter. Kerstetter needs a win here, and Hansen is also needs a win.
Yes, he is, and they're all well represented here. And maybe when we have if we get a caution in a race, Milty, we can bring up the points real quickly and go over to the particulars. We know that Ken Hansen had a pretty good night last week, and did gain some ground there. So if anything, the top three tightened up. And going into Daytona, we know it's a wild card track. The old big one, always possible, Milty. So let's see what can happen here when we're coming through 3 and 4, and
my favorite super speedway here. I was lucky when I got back online to win the King of the Hill because Matt Watkins went flying, and him and Nicole Johnson, and I had Jim Ray on my 6. It's great memories of running here, sim racing and also real racing.
and the pace car's off. Yeah, what a great track, Milty. A lot of history. Watching the flagman, he throws the green, and away we go. Here, Piccolo is on our pole there, in the 42 car. And man, Gary is, what is he? He's not the, Ryan Newman is the Gary Piccolo of NASCAR, Milty. You have to switch it where, you remember when he was getting poles every week. Gary, no matter what series he's in, he seems like he's starting in the same position.
Oh boy. Cool. Ryan Johnson takes a dive down their side opening, and I've listened to some of these teams talk about loyalty last couple of weeks in some of these other like the Super Speedway series, and there's in our team it's try to race together until 2 to go, but you also, if you got a chance at helping yourself, you got to go for it. You're out there to race.
Well,
but that's our team philosophy.
Yeah, and we see the 86 car taking a spot that was about 1 car length in length and slotted it in there between the 07 of Ken Soska and the 62 of Sean Reap. That inside line right now is getting a lot of takers. Not a lot of love for that outside line, and the outside line's going to need a lot of dancers, Milty, for it to go.
Well, we saw Greg Bubba Razor, who's not in this race, but get his first FSB win on the outside in FSB Cup, I believe. And but that's later in the race. That's when the desperate get desperate. Right now, they want to stay in line. They know that plate racing is all about execution.
Yes, it is.
Early to put yourself in the position to win later.
Yeah, the veterans, as soon as they feel like the race is a little stable and everyone's kind of finding their spot, immediately it goes to fuel and laps and 2 tires, no tires. All these things are immediately being discussed and worked out, and you have to commit to it early here, Milty.
Yeah, in our team channel, we try to remind each other, or we talk as we set our settings. Okay, I'm setting 2 tires. You try to map out how many pit stops you think there's going to be, so that your last pit stop you can take left side tires, which are fast. It's a faster pit stop with fuel. Of course, Aero 88's a little different than Pro Cup, and I'm so used to Pro Cup. The fuel window you were talking about is much longer than.
Yeah, it's a little longer. In this big long train here, Milty, if you're right in the middle of it and you're pedaling the car, you can really get some good gas mileage, I think, as opposed to, let's say, Gary up front, who just has the pedal all the way down and that's it.
We'll have to see if Johnson and Johnson here try to get together.
There they are. The 34 of Isaac, the 59
and stay together
of Dad. And looks like we got Dog and the 00 there, and 23 of Jim Scharf. The lonely guys on that outside line, Milty, and you can see though, even with 3 together, when they're lined up, you can make some headway, and I think guys are gonna.
That's the BR track, yeah.
Exactly. It kind of rewards stay in line in that second groove, and you can make some gains in the corners as the inside line sometimes stacks up a little.
And that'll get more prevalent as the longer we go in this race. Right now, everybody's still trying to figure out what they want to do here, and
we see our top 10. right back. Nice size field, Milty. 20 car field.
This is the crapshoot right here for the points. We know Kerstetter can dominate in 1.5-mile tracks if he gets, you know, a break, and he was on fire last week and in the booth, which was quite amazing. Of course, it's not real, but this week a lot, you know, it's a crapshoot. Any one of these cars out here can win this race. But Rick Bisconder, he missed 2 races this year. Had a shot at the top 5, maybe still does.
Yeah,
battling
maybe
it.
Still does. You're right.
As far as points, you know, your first goal is to try to win, and then to get on the podium, and then to be in the top 5 in points. And him and Doug Palmer are flirting with that. A little bit of thinking here.
Yeah, there's a little dicing where some guys are not wanting to commit to that outside, but maybe thinking once or twice. Just quickly looking at some speeds here. We were following the 07 of Ken Soska, Milty, 190 plus miles an hour. These Aero 88 cars, maybe not the fastest of the mods, but you can see the speed is still there, Milty.
Yeah, wider tires, heavier. Well, not heavier. This 3,500 pounds, but and less horsepower, probably 700 compared to 800 plus for the Cup cars. But in the draft, 190 is, you can't simulate that until you have 20 cars going together.
And you see that Gary has led every lap from the pole at 28 of Ed Kerstetter just tucked in right behind him. I think Ed's very, very comfortable being right where he is. Ken
Let's
right
take a look.
him as well.
Let's take a look at one of these guys in car and show the viewers what view you have. When you're nose to tail like this, you can't see very much. You can barely see the apex of the corner.
Yeah, we're right here with the 108 of Doug Palmer, and you can see the 191 of Mike Sanders right in front of him there. And Dog's pushing on that outside line. You can see he's got a mirror full of cars and a windshield full of cars, Milty.
Yeah, you're looking forward, mirror, looking forward, mirror, looking forward. This is the most stressful type of sim racing there is, because it's nose to tail view. You have to stay, you know, you watch these guys go around, it looks like child's play. These guys are on edge right now, all times.
And you can kind of hear his motor, Milty. That outside line working very well right now. He's barely lifting, if at all. And that inside line, you're forced to lift just a little with the draft. So that's the advantage. And then the BR version of the track kind of rewards that outside line. And you can see Dog making headway as he's coming in on the 28 of Ed Kerstetter, who was very comfortably sitting in second place since the green flag is flown.
Yeah, and you see they gain speed. They have to get out of it a little coming into the corners, but you want to keep just enough momentum where you can come up. If there's no cars in front, you can come up and give a bump here. Dog's trying to come up to Michael Sanders here and give him a little love tap, which gives you a nice boost. You don't want to do that when you're back in the pack.
And you can see nice and smooth. Dog's got a really good rhythm going right now. And as long as that outside line stays organized, it's going to be competitive. Jumping ahead here, now looking back in the mirror, there's Dog. But now we're right with Mike Sanders, who's got clear track ahead of him. And you see there Ed and Gary right ahead of him.
And Mike is floored.
Well.
Mike is floored. The leader is floored. These other guys are sucking up to him and having to get off, as we all know this, watching real racing. But sure is neat to be able to simulate it. And also, you're thinking, do I got my tires set right? I got to make sure and get down to the bottom to pit with my partners. It's all fine and dandy right now on the outside, but eventually they're going to have to get in line. Who's going to try to save fuel? Who's saving fuel? Because running in up front, you're floored. So the farther you go back, you're getting the lift. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Also, how much fuel are you going to take? You're going to take 2 cans. You're going to try to take a can and a half. Get track position, and if you can't make 20, then 80 lap race. You make 20, then you got to run it out. Otherwise, there are options you can have here, especially in Pro Cup. The Pro Cup cars will fill you up at two cans, but you're still getting fuel. Your car's already full. They're still trying to put fuel in, and you're losing time on pit road. Every second is like a football field.
So it's packed here, nice and tight. As we continue to go back, though, we can see that some guys, some gaps in the draft. Matt Watkins, 15 car, he's still laying back in the weeds right now, Milty, and classic Matt Watkins plate racing going on right now for him.
Yeah, that's how he do. Unless he qualifies well, this race he chose not to qualify, and he's not laying down his. He's not pulling the bullets out of his gun. He's just using a strategy that's worked well for him. He knows how to. Stay out of trouble and still stay in the lead draft, and then pull off a pit stop. It's just amazing, and take huge track position.
And we're on lap 15, Milty, of 80. Maybe 30 is an optimistic number. It's probably maybe more once everything's said and done, 27, 28. But let's keep an eye on that, and you see we're riding now with the 72 teammate, Monsoon Motorsport teammates there, one lined up, Milty, and maybe some team strategy being played out here by Monsoon.
Well, absolutely, they know this deal. Probably the winningest team in FSB history in speedways. I don't have stats to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's when you talk about Rick Johnson being well, actually he was ECR, so that was different, so never mind. But still, with Matt Watkins working, because Matt is does so much for the league, and when it's race time, he's in that team channel. You can talk to his teammates. He is intense as they come, and he is here to win and to help his teammates. And he is ramrodding those guys, man, talking, and kind of like me, same thing. When we get in the team channel and it's race time, we get fired up. Otherwise, why the heck would you be doing this?
Take you back a little to your young years, the Barbarella car there, 92 car, Chad Stallman. Some nice looking paint jobs here.
Absolutely, and they do a lot with a little graphics restrictions with the server, and to make everything work right for 20 plus cars almost every night in this league. They have to, and this mod is not quite as paint friendly as like the modern Cup. I mean, you could paint things in those series. So the things these guys come up with, the great painters in the league, Ed Finley and Sammy Young, and on and on and on. And plus, a lot of these drivers now are so experienced. They're also experienced with making their own paint. Which, for get that, man. I couldn't even know how to turn it on.
There's the Gray Ghost Oldsmobile. And there's our leader. He's led every single lap, Milty. What can we say about Gary? He's racked up at least a half a dozen poles in maybe 7 races. He's been on the pole 6 times, Milty. And
well, he finishes top 5.
We got the pit stops going on.
We got pit stops at 19. I thought maybe 20 would be the max you can go, and I think these guys are right on edge of fuel here. That fuel gauge lies to you.
Yeah,
I know you did practice, but it goes way down.
20 laps for the leader. Of course, he might be using the most fuel, Milty, but he only had 2 cars go with him. 3 cars is going to be hard pressed. Now we're back with our main pack led by Ed now, and now let's keep an eye on
pit. They're all pitting this lap. Yeah, so even those guys that pitted at 19, they'll come out at 20. They're good. And this pack, second and a third pack still going.
And now we're going to follow as a second
large
pack peels off, but we can see a good chunk of cars, Milton.
Nice, look at that.
Including Matt Watkins, Mike Pruitt.
Oh, how hard that is.
It's Steve Weber. So Monsoon using fuel mileage here. There we see Ed coming into the pits. There's the 108.
The 99 Scotch Blue Ford of Full Throttle Racing. 2 tires. He's sitting there waiting for fuel.
Stuffing
Come on,
fuel.
go.
And away he goes. Now we're going to go back to our...
Oh, no, boy. The dog burns the tires off. Trying to stay ahead of Chad Stallman. They're side by side. Who's going to give
the rest of them?
Oh, they're bumping on pit road.
Oh, Matt Watkins loosened, but everyone gets down pit lane safely, it looks like.
Great battle between Dog and Mike Sanders. I'm sorry. They were bumping doors. That reminds me of a battle I had with Matt Watkins coming out of the pits. Wow.
And the third pack is in, Milty. So 3 packs of cars in
this
race.
That's 21. So that'll be 22 out. How are they going to line up here?
Yeah, we'll get back onto the track here. And let's see if we can find the 42 car. Of course, remember Gary was the first in of the first group of cars in.
Pack of 4, Sanders, Dog, Pops, and heck, I can't see that car. It's generic. And Mark DeCenza. Still don't have Mark's paint.
Yeah, the traffic here is all blend in.
They need to get in line there and try to get that draft. And Rich Johnson always says the best thing to do is be the first pitting, as long as you can make fuel, because you're the ones that have the momentum as the other cars are coming up to speed, and you can lose them right there. And that was Rick Johnson.
And Ed gets shuffled out high, Milty.
That's a pretty good strategy.
Looks like the 92 of Chad Stallman is now taking the lead. Ed got shuffled, and
that was
he's gonna have
to
get in,
too.
And he does. And just enough space for Ed to get back into that inside line. The top 4 got by him, though, and that includes the 54 Bill Yarbrough with a great pit stop. He's jumped up in the hunt here, Milty.
Piccolo lost a couple spots, but Schroeder and Piccolo together, they know each other from racing at Blazing Pedals and other leagues. And a lot of universal. Yellow is out.
We got caution out, but we're racing to the line here, Milty. We'll follow this, and then we'll check our yellow.
Dahlman's at Bear Creek gets across the line, and he is P1.
And now the slowdown here is sometimes dicey in these super speedways, Milty, when it's tightly packed and everyone lifting at different points.
Well, it's caution is out, and so these guys just pitted, so I doubt they're going to pit now. Everybody pitted, so I would say if you're in the back, you've got to, why not top it off here you don't need, track position is sucks. So that's would be a good idea. If I'm in the back, I'm getting probably fuel and tires. I'm gonna be in the back anyway. Next time I can go no fuel or no tires and fuel. Going down waiting for the pace car.
Trying to pick up on that caution, Milty.
So what are these guys gonna do? I got a couple friends of mine from way back. They showed up at the house. They're watching me broadcast here, kicking back behind me. I think one of them wants to get in the league here at some point. So I let him drive the simulator, and he was like, "This is cool." He was doing laps at Daytona, Well, how do I get into this stuff? Well, actually, how do you get in this? Well, you join the league. Well, first you have to get the game, Greg. You can get the game on Amazon still these days.
Well, I don't know about Amazon, maybe eBay or a resale kind of website, Milty. There are. Okay, so the caution came out, Milty, and not quite.
Well, I didn't see who brought the caution out.
We're trying to see.
If you can go back and see.
Yeah, we're trying to determine, and don't really see anything, Milty.
Debris caution? Maybe it was a debris caution.
Phantom debris caution, possibly.
Now, there's got to be something that happened here. Somebody.
Well, there's the pace car just rolling there.
I'll try to go back to Alt 4 and see if I can.
Well, if you find it, let us know, Milty. I do not see.
Oh, okay, let me try.
Why we had a caution there, but we are under caution, and
Jim's
lap 25.
Jim Sharf. Focus on the 23 car, Pinky. That's my bad. The game went all the way back to practice, so I don't know what I was looking at there, so I'm not sure. All 4 didn't work very well.
Well, we're gonna call that, I guess, a caution for debris. Deer might have ran out onto the track.
Well, there's no deer, and there's alligators in Daytona, but my dad did hit a deer at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, in a Corvette, and it totaled the deer and the Corvette.
Well, let's recap this, Milty. Lap 26 now. Bill Yarbrough is our leader. Some guys did pit this after really everyone having a green flag stop, Milty. Some guys did elect to come back in and apparently top up. That might be their strategy. Some elected to stay out. Hence, we got Bill, our leader, Mike Sanders second, Ken Soska third. 42 car there. Gary is back to fourth. And then we got the 00 Scott Schroyer. So some new faces at the front, Milty, with this caution right after the pit stops. Some have elected to go back in, some have elected to stay out.
Yeah, visiting with my friends there just a second. So Schroyer and Piccolo. It's so cool when you get experienced drivers that have run for years in other leagues and come in and find out they're real cool and they race cool but they're also very competitive and they fit right in. It's kind of like when you get a new job or you get a new when you join a new league, how you going to fit in? And these guys they fit in, they get right in the conversation, the fellowship, and they're hard racers, experienced
Yeah, we see some topping up going
racers.
on pit lane here, Milty. Ken Hansen, Ryan Johnson, Isaac,
The sixth car, better
28,
watch that guy.
yeah. Mark DeSenza is in, Ed is in as well. So a top up strategy here as we're getting ready to go green. These guys have the most fuel now if we're going to get another green flag run. You see the 15 of Matt Watkins pops right ahead of him. Looks like everyone managed to stay on the lead lap, Milty. So 20 cars all still on the lead lap, 27 laps in. Lights are out on the pace car. Bill's going to lead us down. We're going to get back to green flag racing here on lap 28.
I think he's down on the apron there. Not sure what he's doing. There he blends into Hansen in the back, Ryan Johnson, Pisconer, the sixth car, a lot of good pieces in the back. They obviously topped off with fuel. They're going to try to push that 22. So we're going to go green with 29. That'll be 51 and 7. So they're still not in the fuel window.
Nope, it doesn't look like they can get there on one more stop, Milty. But stranger things have.
That was a crappy start there. The cars are spread out. The 83 car didn't get going, and he's got ass full of Jim Sharf all over him. They sorted out, and they're still in the draft, so they're okay. Already Mark Dillon Jr. looking high. You had your first pit stop, first caution. Now these guys want to get to going here and improve their chances.
Yeah, we can see a 4-car pack dropping off the back there. Everyone's stringing out on the inside line. Not a lot of outside line takers right off the bat here. You see Isaac trying to claw his way back into that lead draft. And then Ryan, Ken Hansen, Mark DeSenza, Rick Pisconer are all by themselves in the back. But 4 cars drafting together, Milty, won't lose that much ground, especially if these guys ahead of him start going too wide.
Isaac, I wonder if he's holding back, trying to pick up his dad as we look at the interval here from son to father. We're looking at 2 seconds here, almost right at 1.5. Once you get past a second and a half, you start to lose the draft of the big pack. Is he going to fall back and try to help him?
We'll see. That remains to be seen, Milty.
Or forget you, Dad. I'm taking off.
Yeah, it looked like he was lingering back there for a second, but I think he felt if he did that, he would just be the 5th car in the backpack.
Oh, they're dropping back farther. Now the interval is... crap, let me see here. Interval is 2.2 seconds. That's out of the draft. Maybe they know something we don't, or they just the restarts are so critical here.
Well, if they can stay together, conserve max fuel, they can get maybe one lap more and maybe make up a little ground. And caution comes out when a big Pat pits. These guys could be in a very good position.
They're real high and tight here, lined up. They know what's got to go happen here. They're not even teammates, but they know the situation they're in, so they're not racing each other. They're just dialed in, but they're still 2.4 seconds behind.
Yeah, and here's someone, Milty, that we don't associate with super speedway racing, but the 54 car, Bill Yarbrough, looking very comfortable leading this big pack.
Bill is comfortable in everything. He's won the 2.4 hours of Le Mans, raced in every kind of racing you could possibly imagine, and won. So.
And then we got the 191 of Mike Sanders tucked in right behind him, and 07 of Ken Soska. Mike Sanders also looking very comfortable at the front here in some super speedway racing, Milty. Then we get 2x2 back around where the 42 of Gary Piccolo is on the inside. The 62 of Sean Reap on the outside, along with the 23 and the 92, trying to make some ground on that outside line. They're just not getting a lot of friends right now.
Well, Mike Pruitt, the 72 from Sugar Land, Texas, he's kind of separated from his teammates too. All these plans these guys had, these teams, now it's like, Ken Kerstetter goes up wide right there. Holy cow, he's in the outside lane. They want to get something going, but 4 against 20 is not going to do it yet. But that outside lane's got some cojones.
Wow, that was a bold move by the 28 car. Dove to the outside, right in front.
And he's leading that pack now. These guys are going to start thinking the 28's up in that outside lane. I better do that. I know he's my teammate, our teammate. So when he does something like Rick Johnson, you start thinking, I better follow. See what happens here.
And we can see still not a lot of takers on that outside line beyond Ed jumping up, and that inside line just very tight, very tight nose to tail.
Well, my dad raced here at Daytona in the IMSA, and he crashed, hit a Chevrolet alternator at about 215, and when he got in the ambulance, he realized that he went potty in his racing suit. Very embarrassing.
Always nice to hear a warm tale of Daytona, Milty. We appreciate that.
So we're looking at lap? What did I say? 49.
Yeah, we went green lap 28. So if we had 20 to that, Milty, it would be 48. So about 12 laps before, maybe a little less, before we see a little action here. If you're in that outside line, of course, Milty, you got to start thinking of that. And
you got to make hay while the sun still shines, man.
Usually we're used to seeing maybe a guy getting aggressive, shooting down to get into that inside line for pit stop purposes. But that inside line right now, you can't shoehorn the car into any position right now. So if you're those three cars on the outside line, you're either going to concede some ground or you're going to have to be quite firm in your driving. And
Oh boy, Michael Sanders is all over him, and Bill and Ken Soska. These guys are, of course, they're pro sim racers. They know what to do, but they're maximizing right now. That bottom lane is the way to go, but. See that Kerstetter still stays up about P5 or 6 with three cars, and one they had four, but one bailed on them. Now it's down to 2. They're all getting scared. We better get down. The outside isn't working. That'll change later in the race. Silently creeping his way up to P15 or P9, excuse me, and in the draft.
Matt's a very patient driver. He does like to get to the race right on time, which usually means starting in the back and working his way through the field. So this isn't anything new for him. And if anyone can do it consistently, it's him. And you can see he's really working well as we continue to follow him up and jump into his car here. You can see he's pushing pops.
Oh boy,
inside line.
That's intense when you got all those cars around you right there.
You can see the 28 car on the outside in the mirror. Matt all over the bumper of the 99 car.
Yeah, Matt's internal clock is starting to say, I think it's time to go. He's one of the, why he has more wins than any, he long surpassed the wins that I've had. And why he's done that is because he has a great internal clock in a race and knows when to lay back, when to be cool, and when to go. And maybe his little clock is ticking here. Dudes really saws at that wheel. He runs the old Momo wheel, which is about like my old Microsoft here, old school wheel, but it's not the wheel, it's the wheel man. And he's a wheel man. Oh, we got pit stops early. What the heck's going on here? No. Yeah, no. Bill Yarble dives in, and the 07. They did signal. We fell asleep there. That's way early from what our projections were. Looking at the scanner, what they gonna do now? 191's fitting out of P. Whoa! They're crashing big time. It's the big one. I don't know if they didn't see Pitt. That wasn't. Oh, Pops got sideways there. He might have had a little help. Kerstetter, car up in the. Oh my gosh! Who was that? Mike Pruitt up in the catch fence. Oh, they're still dead meat right there. I'll replay it. Well, I actually had my friends were over. I had somebody get me a beer while we're broadcasting. That's a wonderful thing. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at that, Greg. As you are. There we go. I'm about 3 seconds behind here. Pops is on the outside with Kerstetter, and all is well. Oh boy, 42's 42. It makes it 3 wide. It's 3 wide going through there. Remember, I'm 3 seconds behind. Oh, and Pops. I think Kerstetter got in the back of Pops right there, and then Mike Pruitt is upside down. We gotta see we should see like a in car from his car. That's pretty gnarly. Low motion again here. It looks like Greg has stepped away for a minute. Remember, folks, I'm 3 seconds behind.
Well, looking at it here, Milty, it looks like Pops got out of that second groove and almost into a third groove, and then tried to get back in line, and Ed was there. And Pops really had nowhere to go there. He was going to get hung out on a third line there.
Pops cut him off, man.
And that took out some good cars. The 86 is in there, the 62, the 92, and then we see the 72 of Mike Pruitt upside down.
Dude, when you're sideways at 190, they're still at 158. And you got no control. Bam! Bam, 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 bam. Well, Puff Spotter had to been telling him, you would think, you know. Mike Pruitt up on the catch fence.
Yeah.
That's going to leave a mark right there.
And,
holy cow, that changes everything. Fuel strategy and Kerstetter, that's a huge lick in the points here. He needed to get through that. Excuse me, what did Steve Weber?
Yeah.
I think he got through that stuff.
Yeah, the 72 and 92 out of the race. Too much damage. Ed has stayed on the lead lap, Milty. Taking a look at these cars now, you're right. 83 was in that vicinity.
Yep, 72 is out.
Let's see if we can get a better look at the cars here of the competitors. Looks like the 83 car is looking okay.
I managed to squeeze through it.
Hey, we got Jim Pinky Sharf in here in car. Well, you got through it. Well, got a piece left to try to do something here?
Oh yeah, I got a good car. I don't have a scratch on it yet for the night. I'm just sitting here cruising around buying my time, waiting for the end of the race to make my move. And if more people would come up on the high line would really get moving, because these BR tracks are known for that. And we had 3 cars up there and we were pulling up the front, but we just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, we were just talking about that in the broadcast.
I'm not watching it tonight. I have no idea.
Yeah, so it's good to hear from the driver on the track. You guys have been trying to get together. It looks like all the teams have been trying to get together, but they keep getting separated as Daytona and green flag stops do. So now we regroup here. Where are you positioned?
It's showing me in 6th right now, and I ran out of teammates. I think they all got collected in that last caution there. So I think I'm going to be by myself the rest of the night. So I got my work cut out for me.
Well, the 54 is a good guy to hook up with, and the 108, and you're right in that pack. And the 07, you need a good restart here. We saw in the last restart there was a gap between two packs, you know.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to sit up here in the front the rest of the night, and hopefully I can come out with a good top 5 finish. Maybe got a podium and be able to come back up here and talk to you at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see it.
Great.
All right, I'm going to jump back to my team channel. I just wanted to come up here and give a shout out to all my fans there. Hey, everybody, this is Pinky. Watch me tonight. I'm going to try to get a win for you.
Go, buddy.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right, I'll catch you later.
All right, so little man on the spot recording there, Melty. 00 now is our leader under caution, Scott Schroyer. And right behind him, 42 car Gary Piccolo. So they're very familiar with each other, Milty, and they're together in the front. And of course, look who's behind them, the 50 car Matty Watkins, who's also very familiar with them. So these three at the very front, a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, Milty.
Yeah, absolutely. What did we say? Matt Watkins starting in the back. Hey, he's P9. Now the 15 is P3. The greatest driver, in my opinion, in the history of FSB. I'd like to say myself, but it's not. So, but this is the man right here, in my opinion. So we're at 47 laps, just past the halfway point. The lights are out on the pace car.
47
and my,
80 Milty. So
my cat's sticking its claws in my leg here. Nice. You love NASCAR and FSB.
So Milty, we're gonna go green at lap 48. If we add 20 to that, that'd be 68, and then they could go the rest of the way. Do you anticipate guys trying to hit the number and maybe doing a short stop?
Yeah, I think both. You know, that's what the discussions are going on in the team channels right now. What do we do? Right now, they're putting it in 4th gear, and they're clutching to try to save as much fuel as they can. And it's very hard, though, with a big track like this to make too much distance. But you've also seen the teams that go from lap 19 they pit to 21. So,
Well,
and the 21ers were the dudes that were drafting and lifting, just like we were saying.
green flag is out.
Green, green, green.
And we're single file and we're back underway. No one a lap down, Milty. Just 2 cars have retired from that last wreck.
That's pro sim racing. Got 2 cars out, 18 cars on the lead lap. And, you know, that the 9 car and Rick Biscon are just in the top 10 here. The 9 has, you know, I would say he's one of the guys that's going to try to pop outside, and he needs to make something happen to have a chance at this point championship.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Milty. And we heard, you know, from Pinky there. So if you see some outside line action, I see him definitely being a taker. So some of these leaders might have to take a risk, Milty, and see if that outside line can put together enough guys to make a serious run.
Well, that's the deal. Is when it's going to happen. It's when is it going to happen? 62 is pitting. I think he had too much damage.
Yeah, he was involved in that last wreck.
Carry on here.
That's too bad, because he was one of the guys up in the points, Milty, so that's going to hurt his numbers as well. And
Weber's just sitting on a sack of seeds here right now. as this is going just the way he wanted. He's, you know, he's ahead in the points here, so he just needs solid finishes to take this thing home. Now you got to go into defense mode, and you drive different. Of course, he always kind of drives like that anyway, so this should be very comfortable for him. He lets the race come to him.
Yeah, absolutely, Milty. I don't think Webb needs to do anything that he doesn't normally do. I think he just needs to drive like he always does, and I think the points are going to take care of themselves for him. He just cannot get taken out of a race or make a foolish mistake, which he's not known to do anyways. So, I think he's right where he needs to be. I think if you're Ed or Ken, you're going to have to make something happen. You're going to have to win. You're going to have to get some bonus points somehow, some way.
And there they go. Taking a look. They're like, come on, guys. Most of these guys are, these guys are in their team channels. So they're not going to be talking unless they got whisper channels, which some of these guys whisper like crazy. Of course, I don't do that. It's hard enough to concentrate with a couple voices in my head, but silently, they're definitely starting to make new deals. Hello, my best friend. Let's get to the front. When is it going to happen? Still just not quite 2/3 of the way through the race here. That after this next stop, it's going to get jiggy.
Yeah, we're going to want to look at about lap 60, Milty, and see if someone feels confident enough that they can get a 20-lap final run, or will guys run their fuel out and just do a short pit at the end?
They're all playing it conservative, and that's what I would do too, because you just know at this point you don't have any friends. You hang it out there and go, come on boys, let's go, and they say, forget you, dude. You're my teammate? Sorry, I just, oops, I had to go. And that's the way it should be. You gotta race. You gotta play to win the game.
That's absolutely right. The 00 and 42 are in a very
they're playing to win the game right now. They know,
but they're also in a very familiar position, and they know everyone who's around them, and it's going to be tough to get around them right now.
Very experienced. They know how to pit, which is if you don't have enough anxiety already by following these guys and you can't see in car, then you got to execute a perfect pit stop and go from 190 miles an hour down to 55. Not hit nothing.
The 07's car here, as you see the top three right ahead of him. Lap 50 crossing the line here. Lap 55.
He's got the DeLorean of Matt Watkins, the Back to the Future car right in front of him. The greatest driver. Out of time, it says right there on his. And he is getting it going here, and he's going to wait for the outside pack to build. Then when he sees them coming, they get 1 car, 2 car, 3 car, 4 car. Matt Watkins is going to go boink out there. Right now in P3, he's just going to look at them all over the place. Half the time, this guy's a wheel man. Sometimes I think he's just bored out there, and then all of a sudden he's not even paying attention. Like almost wrecked like 2 or 3 times a race. I think it wakes him up, and as they go by Pops. He's ailing big time.
Yeah, everyone tucked in, Milky. I think right now
Oh, Yarborough's taking a look in the mirror. You got that guy in the mirror. He's like, sniff, sniff, sniff. When I go outside, I want to win this race. I don't think it's time yet.
And we did see last time when Bill kind of put his toe in the water out there that the 23 car immediately jumped out with him to let him know, I'll go with you. Bill thought better of it at the moment, but I think he put that in his...
This Connor way out wide. He wants to go. He wants somebody to go with him. Then he goes back in line. Then he comes back out again, and then he goes back in. He's like, come on.
Well,
He wants to go, and that's what you want when you're at, towards the end of the top 10.
with the nature of the way FSB TeamSpeak works, Milty, a lot of guys are in team channels, not in the main channel where everyone can talk to everyone. And so Rick trying to throw some communication out to the guys around him, letting them know, hey,
hello,
I'm
I
out
want to
here.
go.
And we're riding with Bill Yarbrough.
There goes Pinky out on the outside there. We talked to Pinky under caution there.
And there goes
And
Bill.
he goes back in too.
And Bill takes a
Yarbrough
little
wants to
look
go.
outside. And now Ken maybe takes a little look outside. And knows
Well, the show's going to happen. It's just, it might not be yet. They're sniffing around right now.
closing in on lap 60 as well, Milty. So if you make a move to the outside right now, you might get hung out there, Milty.
Hung
with
out
fuel
to
running
dry.
low. You can see Bill's fuel gauge there. You don't want to see that thing going to the left, Milty. That's a bad sign.
Yeah, when you get the fuel warning, it depends on where you get it. But basically, you got to pit that next lap. You want to have friends when you pit, because the draft is everything. And we want to see, the fans want to see a green flag stop right here, big time.
See another good run by Bill Yarbrough. Is he going to the outside? No. He wanted to, but thought better of it. With the way that the situation right now, I just don't see that you should make a move to the outside right at the moment, Milty. You got to get that last stop out of the way.
Absolutely.
So far, no takers as we hit lap 60.
Checking the scanner. Nothing. Dead silence out there. They are in the window.
Everyone just all thinking about that last stop. Any tires? Should I short it by a half can? Can I do anything different? You gotta think that 2 cans has to be done unless you're gonna run this run all the way to the end, Milty, and then maybe you can get by with a can and a half.
If you can go with 18 to go or 17, get a can and a half, no tires. That's the Rick Johnson rule right there. Every second on pit road in this type of racing with this pro field, their nose to tail, any car here could win. This is a great show. And the drivers' meeting, Steve Weber, always great at informing and talking to the drivers. But he chooses his words carefully. And tonight, he didn't have very many words. It's just like, you guys know what to do. Let's put on a show for the fans. And so we can watch the broadcast, and let's get it on.
And you can see we're working now lap 62, Milty, so 19 to go right now.
It's going to get hairier now, though, because now the pressure is building and the anxiety. Speaking personally, sometimes my foot starts to shake right around this time, because I know I have to act.
Working that apron.
Yeah, he just, I think he does that stuff to wake himself up. He just doesn't. He's got great car. He's got great car control. Big time. Well, I'm sideways at 190, no problem. Plus, it's hard to follow like that,
We don't see in this pack, Milty, is the 28 car. So Ed must be hurting.
Damaged, yeah.
And he's fallen well off the pace. So Ken Hansen, Steve Weber in this lead pack here, Milty. And again, Ken Hansen from that third position is really making Steve at least keep honest and stay in these lead packs.
We got a couple cars sniffing on the outside here, but they're in the back, so, and they might be trying to run. They're realizing that pit stops are imminent, and so they're already positioning themselves to the outside to try to miss the pileup or the freight train going in the pit road with the cars that are farther up. They probably figured we saved an extra lap. We're going to take it all the way to 22, and we have chatter on the scanner.
Yeah, and we got a
5483.
All the leaders coming in.
Come on. Oh, Bill.
Matt Watkins locking up.
Matt Watkins locks them up big time.
You do not want to flat spot these tires, Milty, and put excessive wear on them, especially since you don't want to probably change tires here. Matt Watkins in, 54 Bill Yarbrough in right behind him, the 83
and a third.
Steve Weber in as well. Of course, the leaders in, 00, 07, and 42.
Greatness is greatness, but you also got to figure the 15's got to be a little rusty. I know it happened
Watkins
to me.
Is out. He had a great stop. He's going to get by the 00.
He did.
It looks like.
He said, "Hell with that."
And he picks up a position on pit lane.
But you saw he fried those tires. That's gotta hurt.
And they're back
he don't care,
onto the racing surface, 42, 15, 00. And then the rest, the 07 and 54 out as well. And the 83, Steve Weber. So Weber with his final stop, in and out, safely done. Mike Sanders has also made a stop. Looking on pit lane now, 34 of Isaac Johnson in, 59 Ryan Johnson. The 9 of Ken Hansen now in as well. So Ken electing to go one more lap. And there you see he's made up a couple positions on pit lane, going by the 59 and 34. And we can see the leaders come thundering down. And they will go past these cars. And now let's see if they can keep grouped up, or will this 3 make a breakaway? And we can see the 6 car, Mark DeSenza, had a tremendous stop as well. So Mark DeSenza looks like to be the big winner. Matt Watkins moves up one position from 3rd to 2nd. See the cars slowly forming up here. The top 3 of trying to break away now. Let's see if people can form up behind them and run them down. We got the 07, the 54, the 6, and the 83. The 9 of Ken Hansen trying to tag on to Webb, and there we have our points leader and 3rd place contender nose to tail with each other. And then come the Johnsons and Pinky in the 23 car. And they're also desperately trying to hold on to this lead draft pack, and it's going to be tight.
Okay, my friends are taking off and full focus here.
So so let's recap our pit stops. Lap 68 now, everyone in and out. 42 car maintained his lead. The 00, who was behind him when they went in, is now in third. They flip-flop positions with the 15 car, Matt Watkins, who is now in second. Ken Soska was in fourth, stayed in fourth, but Mark DeSenza jumped up. Mark had a great pit stop, though.
Absolutely, and that's what you expect from. I don't know. He could end up being the greatest driver at FSB. You know, he's got that much talent. He just doesn't have the time in like Matt. But like Matt, he wins. It seems like every week, at least once.
And now
at this day and age, you know, I used to do that back in the day, but in this day and age, that's impressive.
Now some outside line thought might be coming into play here, and you see Bill Yarbrough really working that outside line, trying to, I think, either trying to get some takers or just trying to maybe put some moves on Ken to maybe see if Ken will jump out there so he can do a dive back into the inside, Milty. A lot of strategy going on right now.
Yeah, no disrespect to the guys that raced in the past. It's just that all of us did not have the knowledge of the game that this field has. It's not so much about talent. They were great racers too, you know, as good as anybody here. It's just we hadn't played the game as much as we have now, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, you're always gauged not only by your numbers, but also by the competition that you did it in. And
I mean, the league, everything about it was not as experienced. Jim learned, wrote rules, rewrote rules. As things popped up, we learned. You know, it's quite amazing how Jim Ray runs this thing and how smooth it is and how the fellowship and the driving, and it's, you know, it's, oh boy, a little contact with Ryan and the 9 of Ken Hansen. Just a little bump at the wrong time. No harm, no foul. Maybe a scrape on the 59. He goes back, trying to help his son as they're
right at the back of this lead pack.
Top 10, yeah.
And Ken Hansen, of course, does not want to be in any scrapes. He's right on the bumper of Steve Weber, and that's right where he needs to be. And we're still waiting for an outside line run, Milty.
Mark Dillon Jr. trying to get points here, trying to have a chance at the top 5 or 10 in points, and maybe if you get a chance here, you can pop up the points here real quick, or unless you want to do it after.
Well, if we could maybe get another caution here before the end of the race, we might be able to do it, Milty, but
okay,
we got to stick to this racing.
Absolutely.
With just 9 to go. 42 has maintained that lead. Matt Watkins has not shown any inklings of doing anything other than following right now. The 00 right behind Matt Watkins in the 07 and 54. We've seen Bill Yarbrough make some moves to the outside, Milty. When do you do it if you're him?
Well, I hate to wait too late, so I mean, but at the same time, if you're the first guy to pull out, you'd much rather have some other sucker go out there first. Then at least you got 2. Then it's just human nature, racing nature. We got to go. I'm thinking within 5, and we're at 7.
Yeah, we've seen Bill get some really good runs right toward the end of the straightaways, getting into 3.
Here comes the outside now.
Yeah, Ken Hansen and the Johnsons.
Gotta go. I totally agree. This may even 5 may have been too long. You know, you gotta go and try something at the back.
And let's see, Mark DeSenza now taking a look here He's thinking
Come
about
on,
it.
get that outside going. It will roll. These guys know that, so they're gonna do it. You're committed now. Go for it. You know, you're here to win. Hanson's got point implications too, but riding in 10th is not going to help him, so he's got to go for it. Matt Watkins just wants to win.
And Billy
Matt
Yarbrough and Mark DeSenza are just looking for wins. You know, a lot of these guys we got basically two groups of guys, Milty. We got the points racers, and then we got the guys just looking for the win. And
they're looking in the mirror as much or more than they're looking ahead right now, because they're watching who's going to come out next. And when they get to me, do I go or do I stay? Should I stay or should I go?
And they're just think they need a couple more guys out there before they can make some inroads.
Well, Weber's fine where he's at. He's like, right now.
I don't see any help from the 83 car to that outside line, especially if Ken Hansen in it. But Mark DeSenza, Bill Yarbrough may want to jump out there if that 9 car, who just got a little squirrely there, maybe a little contact by the 34 pushing him.
Matt knows these two guys
and now
too.
Ken Soska,
so
here we go. These guys
have raced together many times. Matt and Schroyer and
the 07, the 54, and the 6 dove to the outside, so it's a 3-on-3 battle.
And Piccolo.
We got the 42, 15, and 00 down low, the 07, 54, and 6 up high. And now here comes the 9 car to join the outside line, Milty. And this is exactly what he needed to see.
Get some.
Now we're going to have a race.
I'm on TV. Get some. Gotta go, mano a mano here. Too wide. Oh, father and son. Almost touching in the corner. The outside line is going to roar down this straightaway.
Oh, and there's almost contact between the 07 and 42 at the front. Might have been able to get a piece of paper
Ken
between them there.
Soska, his foot is shaking right now. He realizes I can win this race. What do? He's got almost a car length on the 42. Do you drop down in front of him, or do you stay with the outside?
I think you got to stick with what's working, Milty. That outside line's rolling right now. You got to run with it. And there's been almost some contact now as the lines get real tight together, Milty.
Oh, boy.
We got 3 to go.
Isaac goes down low, bails on his dad. Sorry, Dad, I gotta go. Ryan loses like a car length and a half.
Yeah, and that could have really played a factor right there.
Dinner there.
And now he jumps back up after the dad probably screaming at him on the radio.
Get your butt up here.
Get his ass back in line. And then immediately they pick up the pace.
Thing is, they're infighting. As long as you infight, you're going to lose momentum. The bottom line is not messing around.
No,
they're staying focused.
A lot of experience, like you said, up at the front there with the 42, 15, and
you guys need to line up and do. That's the only way you're going to do something. The BR tracks are better on the outside, but the outside still needs a car advantage.
White flag lap.
Here we go.
42 in front. That inside line just has enough right now. 07 about 1 full car length back of the lead in the outside line. 54-6 pushing.
I would say Watkins is already committed. His private message, the 00 on the 42, and said I'm going to stay down here.
And they're
he's
just
pinned down.
Nose to tail. And I think that they've just cooperated very nicely on that inside line.
Yeah, that's professionals down on the bottom there.
And here we
That's the
go,
difference in this
34
race.
bouncing off the outside wall.
Oh, Isaac gets out of it. Oh, what happened
Oh, and the
there?
54
Oh, they're
spins to
crashing
zero
over
at
the
the line,
line.
and we're
Oh, they're
flipping.
flipping.
Oh. And there's carnage after the checkers have flown.
But not before, and it is the 42 of Gary Piccolo with your win. Great job, brother.
15 of Matt Watkins second, 00 brought
They
him
were
home third.
they
Bill
took all
Yarbrough
three
fourth.
spots. They were focused, lined up, and committed to the situation there. And
Absolutely, Milty. They did exactly what the lead group needs to do, and that's stick together. Don't try to pass. Don't slow your momentum. They
these
didn't.
guys have competed in. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the other factor too. They've been. This isn't his first rodeo, Milty.
They've competed together in NRT 500s or against each other. It depends, But they all kind of understand when we got to work together. We were working together, and a Pied Piper, Gary Piccolo, is doing some burnouts right there.
Yeah, he is, and there we see our official standings. Our 20 cars that took the green flag, 4 retired, 14 finished on the lead lap, and Gary Piccolo sat on the pole, led a bunch of laps early on, Milty. Kind of fell back maybe 4th, 5th, 6th during the exchange of stops, but when it counted, he knew how to get back to the front. He had good people behind him that were cooperating with him, and that pushed him into victory lane. 15 and 00 just stayed nice and tucked into that inside line, and Matt Watkins, Scott Schroyer ran the professional race that they did, and they'll also round out our podium. Bill Yarbrough desperately was trying to make that outside line work, and Ken, but they came up short, but top fives nonetheless. Ken Hansen, Steve Weber, 7th and 8th. And then looking for Ed Kerstetter, Milty, and Ed's all the way down in 15th. So again, Ken with 8 places above him will gain ground
Just
yet
never know,
again.
man. Well, this is a great win for Gary Piccolo. Everything I've heard throughout the sim community is nothing but respect for this guy everywhere he races, and he's showed that here, winning and losing gracefully. So tonight he gets the W. Nice race. So I'm going to step away for a sec, and then we'll drag these dudes up, huh?
And that sounds good. And Milty will step away. I'm going to see if I can rack the points here for everyone to take a quick look at. And we'll see if we can get an update with the points getting posted up here with these results that just happened. But just quickly, taking a glance, Steve Weber with an 8th place finish, and with Ed with the 15th place finish. So Ed will lose ground to the leader, but the 2 points separating Ed and Ken. So we're going to see a new second place contender, and that Ken Hansen will take over second place from Ed. And Dog also, we'll have to check on Dog's finishing position there to see if there's going to be any more shakeups. And looking at that, Dog with an 11th place finish to Ed's 15th, so he will gain some ground.
Oh, okay, multitasking here. Boss says he's testing after the broadcast here. We got all kinds of racing stuff going on here.
Yeah, Milty, and quickly, I know we don't want to shill for road racing, Milty, but I'm gonna shill anyways. I don't care. Uh, Le Mans GTP Sunday morning Pacific time, Sunday at noon Eastern time. We got some great, we'll call them international drivers to join us, and I like the international flavor to the GTP, Milty. It just makes sense.
Well, it is what it was, and what it was in real life was an international death-defying type of racing at the ultimate of before they had to start changing the tracks and the cars because it was you crashed, you died 246 miles an hour
Yeah, and there
and
wasn't much
you
left
go
to
up in
the
the
on
air,
top of
you're
that.
dead.
But yeah, I just think with the guys that know these tracks, this is, their bread and butter. Some of these international drivers, Milty, that's all they do is
Yeah, the
is racing.
Brazilians are just
Yeah, the
really
Brazilians
cool,
are
and
good. They're very good, and of course
we'd
we
like to
know
get some of our European drivers back from before.
absolutely, and of course we know from our iRacing that the Brits or the Europeans and the Aussies. Uh, there's a lot of quality drivers.
Yep. So I'm going to step down here and grab our top three finishers here. I'll be right back.
Absolutely, and while Milty does that, I'm going to check these points here to see if they're updated. Not yet. So our recapping our thing here, we got this was race. Let me check on the race number here. This was race 16. Yes, this is race 16 just completed and in the book. So 4 races left in the season here at FSB Racing Winston Cup Series. Our last super speedway of the season. We'll go back to some intermediate tracks, finishing, of course, customarily with the great Texas World track, which is always a great race. I really like racing at Texas World. It's a throwback, just like the series is. I believe this will be our first time in the booth with the 42 car Gary Piccolo. Of course, Matt Watkins has his own seat here up in the broadcast booth, and he's no stranger to after race interviews being on the podium, usually the top spot. And this time he takes the runner-up spot. And then the 00, Scott Schroyer, again, him and Gary both coming into the league at the same time. So our first interviews with, we'll call them the Blazing Pedal guys. And just a really dominant race from the green flag to the checkered. And we do have Gary and Scott in the booth now. And as I said, right as you came in there, Gary, sat on the pole, led a bunch of laps early on, reestablished yourself when you needed to, and just really a dominating performance. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Um, Obviously, the game plan was to lead a lot of laps and to win the race, of course, but the middle of the race with the caution right after the green flag stops and stuff that kind of scattered up the field with some strategy. What were you thinking there when that was going on?
Well, at that point, I mean, it's always nice to try to qualify as best as you can, and I apparently have got like probably the goldest horseshoe when it comes to qualifying on the pole at super speedways since I joined FSB. It's got to end sometime, but the pit stall was nice to have, but really it's all about teammates, and for one, if Scott wasn't here, I don't know if this would have happened. So all the credit, if not more than me, a lot of the credit goes to Scott, and also to Matt Watkins too, because he was behind us. He was working with us, and I wasn't sure what he was going to do at the end. I had a conversation with him after the race really quick in TeamSpeak here, and he said, I owe you a few from BP, and it worked. So
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
that's about the only reason why that worked. I mean, I thought I was
just dialed in together. I could it just looked like Matt was like, I'm just going to sit right here and help this guy get a win.
Yeah, it was good because God knows my heart was racing because when you're out front like that, coming to 5 to go, 3 to go, and you're still there, you got one eye in the mirror looking to the outside, and I saw that line coming, and I it's like, all right, what do I do here? Because one thing I hate to do is block and play the blocking game. I know it's part of the racing. It's just not my thing. I don't like to do it, and I was like, well, I got to do the best I can and try to do this as clean as possible. And again, I mean, all the credit, more than myself and just driving, goes to Matt and Scott for, working with me there at the end. Scott working with me the whole race. We were teaming up, being Redline Motorsports teammates, and otherwise, without the two of them, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and we could see that right toward after that final stops that you three were working very well together, very little deviation, no one, mixing it up in the front. And Matt, being the interloper between the two guys there, Matt, of course you're very familiar with both of them. When you came out of the pits there, a little drag race with the 00 to get ahead of them, did you have any inklings that maybe you were going to make an outside move, or were you content with what you did?
Yeah, I was definitely very content with what I did because if I had tried to race Gary, I would have destroyed our draft and the other guys would have passed us. So, yeah, I was dead set working with Gary and Scott at the end. Racing for a long time, incredibly good drivers, and yeah, I definitely owe Gary a few plays and pedal stuff. So I was like, we'll just stay low here and push as hard as we got. I thought we were going to get us on the outside, but we started pushing incredibly aggressive at the end, and that was enough to do it.
You guys were real tight, and you knew each other so well, and you could see in the broadcast the spacing difference between the outside line. They had the numbers, but you guys were just high and tight and did not deviate at all. It was like watching a freight train,
Yeah, it was very, very impressive stuff, guys. And finally, with Scott there, obviously you and Gary established yourselves really early on in that race. Then when you got split up there with Matt in between you, was there any conversation about you trying to get back around Matt, or was that just the lot you drew?
No, I was pretty content to just sit where I was at because I know Matt pretty well, and I figured that Matt, if he would have went to the outside, he had to do it sooner. And then once they got side by side with us, then it was just pretty much it was us three, and we got what we got, and there were about 2 to go or 3 to go, and the outside line was side by side, and I just I got really aggressive shoving Matt because I was pushing him through the tri-oval, and so I was just content, and I told Gary that earlier. I said I'm just content if it just finished this way, 1, 2, 3, because I wasn't going to try to deviate. Now if Matt would have went outside, I'd have probably went with Gary, but and I think Matt probably knew that. That's why we just stayed where we did.
Yeah, it was classic. Could make a tape of that and show guys how to run a super speedway final run there, because you guys wrote the book on it very nicely there. Milty, any final thoughts?
Oh, well, just fantastic race. What was it, 1 caution? 2 cautions. One was for debris. We never did figure out who.
I could never figure out that first caution.
Yeah, we couldn't find it. And great racing. The cream rose to the top there, and a great show at the end. What else could you ask for?
I'd just like to say thank you to you guys. You guys do an awesome job. I get work next day, and I'll sit and watch it in my office, and I love it, man.
Yeah, that's why we
Cool
do
deal.
it, and we have a great time doing it. So,
Yep.
Yeah, same here. Just to echo what Scott just said too. I mean, you guys do a great job. And everybody here racing does a great job. Everybody's clean. Everybody's respectful. Stuff happens. Everybody talks to each other. There's no drama, and that really goes a long way. I mean, we're all here doing this for fun, and when you know that, and everybody works it, I mean, everybody is able to resolve anything that happens, and it just shows time in, time out since we've been here.
Thank you very much. Well, that's that starts from the top, Jim Ray. His philosophy on life and playing this game, and fairness. That's why it's like that. And you guys have been welcomed in the league, and and you drive pretty darn good too. So thank you very much.
Thanks,
you, gentlemen.
Thank Greg.
yeah, thank you guys. All right, Milty. Well, another race in the books, Milty, and quickly before we go off the air, the points have been
Let's take a look
updated,
at the
Milty.
points.
And there we see Ken Hansen assuming the second spot, just 22 points behind Steve Weber. 4 races to go. Crazier things have happened, Milty. But, of course, what would have to start first for Ken Hansen would probably need to be a win. But other than that, great run by Ken, battling back into the second position. Ed, 27 back. And then the race
Look
is
at
on.
Dog in the P4, and Saska's moved up a spot. Bisconner still has a chance after missing 2 races, I believe.
Yeah,
No, actually, it shows he has the same amount of starts as everybody else there. So
yeah, I think he just had a
Kerstedter's
couple.
down
I
too.
think he had a couple poor finishes in a row after kind of surging up the leaderboard there. But
Well,
you
actually,
see
it's
him and Ken.
Bisconier. I'm sorry.
Him and Ken are in a battle for that top 5 spot, just 1 point apart. And then just 1 point apart, Mark Dillon Jr. and Jim Scharf for 7th and 8th, Milty. So, a lot of top 10 battles going on. And there's still a battle for 2nd and 3rd. And again, Ken Hansen, 22 markers. A couple wins, and crazier things have happened, Milty. And Ken certainly, we know, is capable of putting a couple wins in together.
Yeah. How many races left?
4 races left.
That's a long time. A lot of stuff can happen. It's going to go back into Kerstetter's wheelhouse, but he pretty much needs to get 2 or 3 wins out of the last 4.
Yeah, and let's.
And he can do that.
And if Ed were to run these last 4 races,
And he can do that too.
he could do it. And boy, that would make it a very interesting finish. So, there's our points. Still a lot to race for. You can see. Look at the list of drivers too, Milty, that have at least run at least a race in this series, Milty. 51 drivers.
Well, I'd still like to see a road race. Then I might have to do some in-car reporter.
Yeah, well, we have.
And that could be like Kyle Petty,
Yeah, we have, and there's our nice homepage, Milty. All our series, nice and bright. A lot of names, a lot of cars. You win a race, you're up in lights for a little bit there, Milty. It's all good.
Yeah, and if you scroll down there, you'll see the winner of the King of the Hill.
Yeah, and there's our
Which,
endurance and special events. Yeah, and there's the Zero Extends Chevrolet Camaro that was the Guns N' Roses King of the Hill winner. Unseating 5, I think either 4 or 5 timer Matt Watkins. And then we see our other great events, Milty. Indy 500, Daytona 500, Coke 600, Mark DeSenza Iron Man winning the 600, also previous Indy 500 champion as well, Milty.
Oh,
So
look
he
at
has
the
2
Demolition
years.
Derby winner. It's
Yeah, and
our own
somehow
Greg
that
Bernardo.
yeah, somehow that 30 everyone wrecked each other, and I just kind of drove around the circle. Uh,
You're
and
too humble.
and let's not forget our one of your favorite races, Milty, the 2.4 hours of Le Mans, which
Yeah, we
our
got Le
teammate
Mans
Doug
tomorrow,
won. Yeah, and a little
and the
GTP
boss
action.
is texting me. Hear that beep? That's Jim Ray going. Let's get on the track and
Yeah, and
get
that's
these Donkey Bob Porsches and Mercedes ironed in. So, Greg, you
yeah,
gonna get on out
I
there
think
after
so.
this?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to, Milty.
But you gotta upload the race too, huh? Can you do both?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so GTP Sunday afternoon, 12 noon. Check out our homepage here. It's pretty cool. There's all our winners, all our series, special events. There's our live
Actually, it could
page
be
where we
later.
can
Jim said.
the FSB Racing Live button right here in the top of the homepage, Milty. That's when races are going on. You click on that, and you can get some live feedback.
Well, every race, every night, 6 nights a week, is on Race LM. It's a kind of like listening to the radio. It's still pretty cool. I crank it up almost every night that I'm in town. If I'm not working out of town, when there's not a broadcast or whatever, then I'm watching it through that. And I know when the race is over, and I can go talk to the guys or see who won.
Absolutely. So check it out, fsbracing.com. Sign up. It's that easy. Get the game, have a wheel, and you're on the track. And that's what I did. And that's what most of these guys did at some point. So check it out, and free tryout. If it's for you, you got a great place to race. If it's not, no harm, no foul, Milty. It's the way it goes with sim racing. So we just invite people in and take it from there.
Yep.
So we'll see you next week. We're hoping to do another broadcast, of course. And stay tuned. And again, fsbracing.com. Thanks for joining us.